Did you know that God gives you specific gifts to do his work? It's true. Paul actually talks about it in several different places, but one of the biggest places he talks about is 1 Corinthians chapter 12. He says, now, dear friends, I don't want you to be ignorant, but I want you to know about gifts and about these specific gifts that God has given you to do his work. And then he goes on to list a bunch of them. They're gifts like wisdom and knowledge and discernment and speaking in tongues and interpreting tongues and all these different things. And so he lists a whole bunch of them. And then there's a couple other places where it's listed, like in Ephesians. And so while there's not an exhaustive list of spiritual gifts that you can have, there's around 20 of them. And there's different assessments you can take to figure out what those gifts are. And how we actually get these gifts is that it's endowed to us by the Holy Spirit upon salvation. And these gifts are just special abilities or certain things that are given to us because we have chosen to follow Jesus. And some of them, we can have them and they're right there. But if we don't use them, they go away. And so you have to actually develop them like you develop a talent. Now, these gifts are not actually a talent. Like, you can't have the spiritual gift of baseball. But also you can have the talent of singing, but not necessarily the spiritual gift of worship. And so it's a fine-tuning way of doing it. And so I don't want to dig too deep in it, especially when you're trying to find the purpose and how to live out your life calling and following Jesus. But it does help you identify these are the things that God has created you to do, because God created you as a whole person with gifts, talents, and passions. And so the gifts that he gives you already aligns up with some of your natural aptitudes and things, even though they are separate from those. So once you discover those gifts, you want to lean into them. You want to develop them. You want to make them better, so that you can actually use the thing that God has given you to do his good work and to fulfill the plans that he has for your life.